here's the pricing thing. You overprice it, which is the stupidest thing you can do. The Sultan of Brunei is not running around on his plane and landing and coming to buy your house blindly and doesn't care about the price. Every buyer cares about the price.
Welcome to We Fix Real Estate. This is Drew Hendricks with guest. Fred, you're not a guest. You're the key man. What's going on today, Fred?
I am the starring Fred.
Yes. Welcome to We Fix Real Estate, starring Fred Glick and his sidekick, Drew. No, that doesn't sound good either.
No, you're
I'm the Egg McMahon of this.
Okay, let's see if we can do this third time's a charm, you know. Okay, Ed, here's Freddie.
Here's Fred. Today we are talking
Everybody
about...
gets it. Let's just keep going now.
Today we're talking about the hidden ways sellers can lose money. And what you need to watch out for is you're looking to sell your home.
Well, a lot of sellers get these very, very, very beautiful presentation folders when someone comes to their house, usually from a major brokerage firm, who, they have it generic, and then you kind of play a little fill in the blanks, and then you print it out, and all these pretty pictures and all these things, and things like, we get 1 million hits to our website every day, and that's supposed to impress you. If they're all for everything else but your house, what good are they?
Mm-hmm.
So they take everything with a grain of salt. To be honest, when I first talk to someone, I don't have any presentation. We want to talk. We want to see what's going on. We want to see what motivated you. There are some people who absolutely want the highest price, and there's some people who just say, get rid of this thing, get it out of my hands. So there's a variation of the context of what a seller's going to need. So just having fancy pictures, fancy brochures don't really mean anything. It's all about the context of what your situation is. But there are things that real estate agents kind of gloss around and don't really tell you. Why is that? Maybe they want to control the narrative. Maybe they don't want to share things that they're doing. Let's give some examples. How do they deal with other agents? Are they trying to sell it themselves so they get double the commission because of dual agency? You got to be very careful with dual agency. There's really no reason to do it. You want the seller, you as the seller to be represented by one party. You don't want them to also represent a buyer. They need to have loyalty to you. Look, it's just like a relationship. If you're married, you want to be with your husband or wife. And, believe me, there's some kinky shit going on. Not when it comes to real estate. You just want one person to represent you and not do this dual agency. So some of these agents will, kind of hide things because they want to control the buyers. They want the buyers to come to them so they can figure them out. And people aren't stupid. I mean, they're not going to give away everything. And the other things that are going to lose you money is they'll say, and they'll maybe say, we have this 3-step process. First of all, we're going to have our private network. We have buyers. We have gazillions of buyers, and we're going to put this out to them. And you know what? We'll get you more money because of that. So what they're saying is, you don't know what it's going to sell for unless you put it out on the open market for everybody to bid on it. So how could they tell you they're going to get more money for you? There's no way to prove it if they just have a private network. And we've had people who've listed with us who talked to other companies who've said this. So it just doesn't sit really well. So then what they do is if they can't sell it in the private network, they then go out to other agents in a quote unquote off-market listing. Maybe even they'll call it office exclusive or coming soon. But the bottom line with all this is, unless you're a famous person who doesn't want anyone to know that you're selling, which I understand that.
Mhm.
Um, you want it brought out to the public. You want it marketed correctly. So when we say marketed correctly, what does that mean? We mean make sure the house is gorgeous, it smells nice, it looks nice, the pictures are amazing. You give people floor plans, you give people a 3D walk through so they could go and really see what the house is like,
Uh-huh.
because you're only going to end up with one buyer. Yes, you'd like to create a situation where there's multiple buyers bidding, but in the end, there's only one person. So the idea is, how do you get them to come to the house? That's my job, is to get them
Mhm.
to come be interested. And it might not be that there's thousands of people or hundreds of people, just a few. And it's the few people who are truly interested.
Mm.
That's the bottom line. At open houses, sellers agents will tell you, oh, we're going to do 500 open houses. What's the point? The reason they're doing it is that they are looking for other buyers for other properties. They're not there to sell your house. They're specifically there to find buyers. And you can Google or AI and ask about this, and you'll see there's courses, thousands of courses on how to make sure that your open house runs great. Here's specific software so you can do follow-ups with people. People don't want to be annoyed. The people who are going to be interested are going to follow up with you.
Mhm.
To just keep calling people or emailing. Oh, if your client's interested. Well, if they were interested, I'd be getting back to you.
Mhm.
It's if you as an agent, as a listing agent, think the way to get people to be interested in your property after they've seen it once is to bother the agent or bother the buyers, you're 1,000% wrong.
Mm.
It's about getting them so excited they want to come back to you. So that's a really, really important thing. Um, and we also try to make sure that those people are qualified. When the typical agent, when they have an open house, first question they ask, oh, do you have a buyer broker or do you have a house to sell? Well, my
Mhm.
question is, hi, if you like the place, let me know. I'll give you all the disclosures and inspections and make sure that you have a fully underwritten mortgage pre-approval.
Mhm.
No agent says that to people. But this way, I'm saying to them, look, we want to have a clean transaction. And the way to have a clean transaction is to get fully approved for your mortgage. So you don't have to worry about it. And seller doesn't have to worry about it. They never do that. So that's the kind of little things that we do. And
Mhm.
that's going to save you money, because you might get under contract with somebody who's got some paper pre-approval from Joe Schmo's mortgage brokerage. It
Mhm.
doesn't mean anything. They haven't even run a Fannie Mae approval through the computer, and it ends up they have terrible situation with their funds or something like that, and the deal dies. We're not going to have deals die because of mortgage pre-approvals. We're going
Mhm.
to make sure everything is copacetic before you sign a contract with someone.
But that would be a
So,
buyer side. For the seller, what's a question that the sellers need to be asking?
of the agents,
Uh-huh. Yeah, so you're entertaining selling your house, and you've got these agents coming in for a listing presentation. What are some of the questions to watch out for?
well, what you want to ask, um, and I'll stick to the mortgage thing.
Mhm.
Do you? Let me think about this. The way to put it. Well, most real estate agents have no idea about financing. Oh,
Mhm.
call my mortgage guy. But you need to get somebody who actually understands it, because what you want to do is have them ask people. Do you, have them ask? Do you ask if people are qualified for a mortgage, and how? And do you know how to read a mortgage approval?
Mm.
Because they'll say, oh, here's a pre approval, and they think that's it.
Ah.
But it says, this is not a commitment to lend. If it doesn't say a commitment to lend money, then it's a worthless pre approval, because
Mhm.
that means an underwriter hasn't looked at it. So that's one question you can actually ask of your buyer. Do you know how to read a pre-approval?
Mhm.
And they'll be like, humana, humana, humana. Oh yeah, I see them all the time. Well, tell me what makes a pre-approval better than another pre-approval? So those are the kind of things,
Just
because
make
you want to target qualified buyers.
Mhm.
That's really the way it works. Also ask them about what's called dual agency.
Mhm.
Let's go into that. Let Just listen to them. Um, you ask them, do you do dual agency? Because it's going to have to be in the contract.
Mhm.
So if they start telling you, oh yes, we do dual agency and it's fine. I've done them before and there's never been a problem. Um, you know, eh, that's a bad sign.
Mhm.
Because the thing you want to hear out of them is, we don't do dual agency because we want to represent only you.
Mhm.
Now, here's what we do that's a little different. We don't do dual agency, but if a buyer comes to us unrepresented, we will prepare the document for him. We will help him with it. Whatever they want to offer, whatever terms,
Mhm.
we do that. We give it to the seller and then we counter offer. And then he realizes what they can actually do.
Uh-huh.
That works a lot better. Okay. And there's people who get it, who bought 3 or 4 houses and they really don't need the hand holding. They know what to do. So that's an important thing. Um,
And what are some ways that people that or realtors that do dual agency kind of sneakily explain their way around it, even though that's what they're doing? Are there
I
hot
think
words?
I don't know because I'm not I'm not full of their things, but
Mhm.
um, you kind of ask them what percentage of your deals are dual agency, and do you know give me one, explain how it works and why I should, it's okay for you to do, and what work are you doing for each client, things like that. And in addition to that, there's other conflicts. Escrow companies.
Mhm.
There is a lot of companies, especially this is geared towards Southern California, where they have an escrow company. They've used them for years. They don't care what it costs. The agent does not care. So what you have to do is say, okay, if you use an escrow company, can you get us a quote on what it's going to cost,
Mhm.
assuming this price? And then ask them to use a combination title escrow company up in Northern California and ask them to get prices from them. Ask them to shop the escrow cost, the escrow title cost,
Mhm.
because you're going to find we use escrow title up in Northern California. We have absolutely no affiliation with, and their prices are ridiculously good. They're great to deal with, and that's why we use them. It's for the benefit of the client as opposed to the benefit of the agent or the agency. If they have their own escrow company, run. Do
Oh.
not let them use their own escrow company because that's where things get pushed under a rug and
Mhm.
it's just another profit source for them.
Mm.
It's not good for you. And there's an actual affiliate relationship form that's federally required, and tell them you want to see that before you sign the listing contract. So you
Okay,
can see anybody they're affiliated with.
that makes sense. And how long should the listing contract be in effect for? Or is that something you would negotiate or or
Completely negotiable. If somebody came to me with a house in Cupertino for $3 million that was in absolutely perfect shape, I would say I only need 30 days to sell that. I mean,
Mhm.
it's basically 2 weekends of showings and then let's have an offer date. But they will still ask for 3 months or 6 months
Just in case?
just in case, whatever. But you also want an out clause. You can give them
Mhm.
6 months, but you want an out if you're not satisfied after, say, 30 days or 45 days. Because, you gotta, if something's not selling, you got to change the marketing. You got to change the
Mhm.
pictures. You got to change the description, and realize this: the descriptions, people only read about 2 or 3 lines, and then they scan the rest.
Mhm.
So these descriptions that are, mile long, it's hit the highlights.
Mhm.
You don't need to put everything. You need to put the things that a buyer's going to want,
Mhm.
you know, because California is and Washington, where there are great schools, the house is nice, it's going to sell. That's
Mhm.
what it's all about. It's buying a location that just happens to have real estate on top of it.
Mm.
The other big thing with agent, how are you going to communicate with me?
Oh.
Well, we can text, we can email, we can call. I'd like to call these agents. Say that, these old agents, they love calling, but it doesn't solve anything. You don't have a record of it. Things are forgotten because you did it in a phone call as opposed to an email
Mhm.
or a text. But we've gone to the next step and we use Slack channels. Anybody who knows Slack, Microsoft Teams, it's kind of the same thing. We're like in a live text, but we're going to put documents in there.
Mhm.
We're going to do what's called threads. So if you put something that needs an answer for that particular thing, it's going to be all in one place. It is organized communication is what we do. And that is the only way to do it because we live in Slack. We're there all the time. So, that's a really important thing. To just have an old thing of just let's make phone calls. It's ridiculous.
No, that makes sense. No, the Slack helps you I like what you said, organized communication, but it's also we always use the word asynchronous in communication. So you can put your question out there and they can respond when they can, versus a phone,
Hmm.
you call them and they got to call you back, leave a voicemail, and it's all just like in one long.
All right. And you forget what you're even going to ask them
Mhm.
if they can't get back to you.
Or you
So,
forget, or you forget you may have three questions. The biggest problem I have with questions like in email format is I may ask the client three questions and they only answered two of them. So then I got to go back. You forgot that last one. With Slack, if you've got all your threads, you can make sure that everything gets answered, and your clients can ask the same in the same style and make sure that they're getting their questions answered.
exactly. Another thing that's important is the property transparency, meaning when you get a buyer and it looks pretty and it shows pretty, but you also want to give them the ugly. You want to give them, and this is what we do on every one of our listings. We run the property inspections up front, and I don't care how many inspections we need to do: house, termite, roof, sewer video, mold, whatever needs to be done gets done. And then we tell the buyers, here's all the reports. Everything's done. We're fully transparent. We run the title report too. So everything's fully transparent. It makes things be able to close, in 15 days with a mortgage easily for the buyer.
Yeah, because
So
it's going
that's
to come out
another thing.
anyways. Is there some sort of argument
Exactly.
by the sellers like, oh, let's not do the inspections? They may not figure it out.
Because they think people are just going to get their own inspectors and do their own inspections. But
Mm.
you know what? These guys are all licensed. We, see the ratings ahead of time. Yeah, somebody could miss anything, but if you really, 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 really want to get your own inspector and we'll give you a couple days to do it, it depends how we negotiate it. But it's like if it's done, it's done.
Mhm.
Yeah, and the other beautiful thing about doing those inspections up front, we give the list to the seller and the seller would say, okay, you know what? I'm going to do number 1, 7, 9, 13, 14, 15, and 19. And we do them. We do the
Mhm.
repair. We get the receipt. We show on the inspection that the work's been done. Maybe major things so people don't have to worry about it.
Mm.
So, the biggest thing you're scared of when you're a new buyer is, oh my God, the house is going to fall apart, especially an older house. And I don't want to
Mhm.
buy an old house because blah, blah, blah. But, some of these older houses are built solid as a rock.
Mhm.
And it's just, upgrading an electric or something. But the house isn't going anywhere. So again, it's case to case on each, but we do run them all because it just makes more sense. And we're not negotiating twice. So that's another thing to watch out for.
That makes sense. Is
Yep.
there
Yep.
questions that you can get ask the prospective, s seller agents, like how their pricing philosophy is or how they're gonna come and price this?
Yeah, here's the pricing thing. So there's a few different ways to price. There's really three. You overprice it, which is the stupidest thing you can do. The Sultan of Brunei is not running around on his plane and landing and coming to buy your house blindly and doesn't care about the price. every buyer cares about the price.
Mhm.
There are some sellers who put up a price and wait for the market to come to them. It's a very small chance that that's going to happen.
Mhm.
But a lot of agents will make up numbers as to what you should list it for to buy the listing. Oh, I
Oh.
think we could get 4 million for this easily. They don't know. They don't know who the buyers are. They
Mhm.
don't know what the buyers are going to be looking for and what they want to spend on the house. So you look at the comparables, comparable
Mhm.
sales. I look at the last 30 days because everything else kind of doesn't matter unless it's a really slow market and kind of give you an idea. But last 30 days, what it's sold for, with the additional idea that if it's an insane market where like San Francisco or Cupertino,
Mhm.
prices are going to continue to go up. So you may price it a hair higher than what the comp is, and people are still okay with that. But my favorite thing to do is price it just under what we think the comps are and what we're going to do, because then people say, hey, you know what? This thing is priced reasonable. Let's go see it.
Mm.
So we're trying to get them to come see the property. That's the whole thing. Now, there's this other game of pricing it low,
Mhm.
ridiculously low. Price it at 999, knowing it's going to go for 1,700,000. The reason this is done is they tell the sellers, oh, this way we grab a lot of interest and then we get a bidding war because of all these people bidding. Well, let me tell you, I've gone through these bidding war things with these things. And what happens is they get 28 offers, and then they only have 3 people that they allow to bid in the second round. Those are the 3 people who would have been there anyway. You're
Ah.
wasting all the time of people who think they can afford it at 999 and take their brokers with them.
Mhm.
And some of the brokers, they don't even understand the market. So they say, oh, yeah, let's try to at 1,025,000. You can go over, ask, and see if you get it that way. And then it ends
Mhm.
up at 1,700,000. So the reason they're doing that is to find buyers to
Uh-huh.
come to their open house. That's all it is. So, you know what, as a seller, why don't you say to these guys, for every buyer you get, I want $500. See what they say about that. You're using my house to market you as opposed to selling my house.
Mm.
It's borderline unethical. I mean, accidentally we get buyers,
Mhm.
because people like want to work with us and we understand that, but we don't solicit them. But every other company just about solicits them, especially the big guys. That's their whole marketing thing. So they will try any way, shape, or form to get the listing because they know getting that listing means the opportunity not only to sell that house, but to find more buyers.
Mm.
That's really what it amounts to. So you should be getting paid as a seller.
Makes sense.
Good luck with that one, but it'll freak them out. Um, don't use somebody just because they're your friend or your cousin or your buddy you went to school with. That's not a way to pick a real
Mhm.
estate agent. You know, yeah, you might piss somebody off, but it's better to say, look, I value our friendship.
Mhm.
If something goes wrong, we're not going to be friends anymore. So but it's hard because that's the whole marketing. That's what they all do. That's why there's 52,000 Keller Williams agents in each office.
Mhm.
Because what happens with Keller Williams and a bunch of the other ones that they could lose their franchise unless they sign up X number of people every quarter.
Mm.
So you go into the nail salon and there's 5 people working there and 3 of them have real estate licenses.
Mhm.
So, it's a system.
So
Anyway.
so you determine the pricing strategy, make sure they don't tend to undercut it or overcut it. It's fair, transparent pricing
Mhm.
designed to sell a house. Also, make sure that they're, what are they actually doing with the marketing? It's not just about holding open houses because a lot of that's just to feed their own pipeline. It's about are they gonna stage the house? Are they gonna how are they gonna promote that house and how you promote the house to just make sure it's aligned with with their seller's goals.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, staging is so important. people unfortunately don't have any imagination. They really don't.
Mm.
I've tried it without the staging, doing digital staging. Digital staging is beautiful,
Mhm.
but people come to the house and it just doesn't resonate. So I'm very bold with telling people you got to have it staged. And we don't have like a person to stage. We can go out and help find the staging company and
Mhm.
get some bids, get some, let's see what their furniture looks like. Because, you know, your furniture, it might be really nice, but it's not about what you like. It's about what a buyer likes. So you have
Mhm.
to design it for the buyer. I mean, that's why I like having an empty house that I could go from scratch, you know. But if people are still living in the property, then we have to make some adjustments. Possibly maybe you move some stuff out, move it into the garage, move it into a pod,
Mhm.
sell it, do whatever to get to the minimalization of what you need. Maybe bring in a few pieces of staging. Every
Mhm.
house is going to be a little bit different, but you want to get it and have somebody understand what it's going to look like. The other thing is, if we've got to use your furniture, we'll use it, but we're also going to digitally stage it
Mhm.
for the pictures. And then when
Well,
they come to the house, the furniture's different. It's not like we've knocked down walls digitally.
mhm.
It's just furniture and paint colors.
Mhm.
So I had one woman years ago who didn't like a house because she didn't like the paint color.
Really?
And I said to her, "Do you realize once you own it, you can paint it?" Okay. Realize that, kids. The paint color don't matter. The furniture don't matter.
Mhm.
You know, it's you can my
Especially
favorite
paint it
line
right
in real
before you
estate.
move in. There's not gonna be
Yeah,
an easier
exactly.
time to paint it.
My favorite line in real estate is there's nothing a sledgehammer can't solve. Okay. So that's the basics.
That
And a
is
paintbrush,
and a
obviously.
paintbrush. So we got pricing. Oh, the other part about that. So you talked about the pre-inspections, but the other part to watch out for with sellers agents is being a gatekeeper of information, like forcing calls, delaying disclosures.
Oh
And
yeah.
like,
I mean, if they, you know, there is a system, a couple of different ones. One is called disclosures.io. It's a website.
mhm,
And what happens is you go there as a listing agent, I put all the documents in there, the title report, the inspection report, the seller's forms that they fill out, the seller disclosures, all the generic disclosure. And what we do is in the MLS, we have the link. Say, here, click on this link and you can download everything. I would love to put it in the actual description of the property that goes out and syndicated to Redfin and Zillow and all that. They don't allow it,
mm,
which really stinks.
hmm,
But there's some agents that don't put the link in and they want you to call them or email them. And then they say, did they see the property? Well, what's the difference if they saw it or not? They're deciding if they want to see it, but they become these gatekeepers. And it's
mhm,
like, that just pisses buyer agents off, and they may go to another property because you're being so
mm,
repulsive about trying to keep it. And that also makes me think that there's something wrong, or they're trying to control it so that they have the buyer. That's another big thing. Again, dual agency steps in and makes decisions for you, which it shouldn't have to make. So eh, yeah, these gatekeeping things are ridiculous. If you're going to fully disclose everything, fully disclose it, period,
yeah,
and give the information out.
yeah. We're as we're approaching the end of this, we're in the rapid fire section here. So I've got about
That's
8 phrases that are typically thrown around in listing presentations and by real estate agents. I'm gonna read them to you, and you're gonna say whether
Are
this
we
is a
going to
red
do it one at
flag.
a time?
I'm gonna one at a time, and you're just gonna go, "Is this a red flag or not?" No,
Okay.
that's a respectable thing to say. So, first statement, trust me.
Red, red, red flag.
Next one, we can keep this quiet.
Why?
I already have buyers.
You're high. Okay.
You don't need inspections.
No.
No.
Nobody really kind of, you don't need it. You don't need them up front, is what
Okay. Not so
let me
much of a
change
red
that.
flag.
That's stupid because then you're going to negotiate twice.
Yeah.
Okay, the price you think you're going to get, then they get the inspection, and then they beat you up on the inspection.
Yeah.
You're going to get lower. Know it up front. Maybe you can fix something for $100 that the buyer claims is going to be $10,000. You save yourself money by doing it that way. Do it up front.
How's this for a golden one? We'll figure it out in escrow.
Oh yeah, it's no problem. But
Red,
everything in real estate must be in writing and agreed upon by all parties. Period. Done. End of sentence.
what
Period.
about this price is guaranteed?
Run.
You don't need to see that.
Why not?
That's yep. And the last on the top 10 Family Feud hit list, everyone in my office has buyers.
Yeah. And
Do they want your home? You never know.
everyone everywhere has buyers. So why just deal with their office? That's called dual agency. Oh, there's another thing in Pennsylvania, and there's an agent from Berkshire Hathaway pushing this. Well, we have a separate situation in Pennsylvania where we're allowed to have one agent represent the seller and another agent in the same office represent a buyer. It's called designated agency. Well, guess what? Both agents are under one broker and one brokerage. Hence, it's dual agency.
Mm-hmm.
It's just given a different name. So, yeah, it's a little better. But what if those two agents are friends? Dude, why don't you get this and do,
Mm-hmm.
you know? Again,
Or a
it's all
husband and
under
wife.
one
The
broker.
wife represents the seller and the husband the buyer.
Oh, that's
And they say they're professionals so they can. Well, that was the top
yeah,
10 red flags that we unearthed. Do you have another
yes.
top red flag?
Oh God, we've gone through so much here.
We
I
have.
mean, we want to really start concentrating on giving sellers the knowledge to be able to interview people. And we what would be really fun as a seller, here's what you do. Interview 3 agents, but you bring them all there at once.
Ooh.
Me, a Compass, and a Coldwell Banker agent, I can't wait.
Oh.
Anywhere in California or Washington, I'll fly there tomorrow, do that presentation, and I won't bring a thing. I don't need to bring anything, you know? Oh, one thing about pricing though, let me add this. So if you know this is May something, you know that you're not going to list the house till September because you don't list, by the way, do not list the house in July or August unless you absolutely have to, especially August. But let's say you're going to wait to September, everything's good, and they want you to come up as a buyer, as a seller, you want to know what the price is going to be. If an agent says, "Oh, it's going to sell for this," do not use that agent
Mm-hmm.
because it's like, here's what it is now. We don't know what the market's going to be in September.
Oh, how do you?
If interest rates have to go up to 11% because oil is now $500 a barrel,
Mm-hmm.
that's going to change the price of the house and what it's worth and the number of buyers.
Mm-hmm.
If the rates drop to 2%, but everybody loses their jobs, again, the value of the house is going to drop. I mean, I'm using things that are crazy as examples, but you just never know.
But it's
So you can
always the crazy thing that you never expected. And between now
right.
and September, who the heck knows what's going to happen?
Exactly. So I tend to do a final price like really a couple of days or maybe the day that we actually list because I can then show the comps. Here's what's going on in the market. There's also some data points that I can find out if it's a strong seller or a strong buyer market. And then we can come up with a number. But you also maybe want to put in the contract, it'll say to put a number, you can put TBD,
Mm-hmm.
but you also want the agent to know, look, if you're going to price it at some ridiculous number that makes no sense, I want out of the contract.
Mm-hmm.
So these are another important thing. So you have to price it to when you're going to sell,
Yes.
not just a number that you throw out
Mm-hmm.
way ahead of time. So there you go.
Very, very informative.
Yeah, we like to just have it logical and have a process and be transparent and make sellers comfortable. It's all it really is about.
Makes sense. Well, believe we've reached the end of this episode. This has been the latest, greatest of We Fixed Real Estate. And today we fixed interviewing selling agents and things to look out for.